Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. And as you can see, I've made zero progress on this project. I hope to get to it a little bit this weekend. One of the questions Jonathan asked recently, I've been thinking a little bit about, and he asked if I'd been riding at all, if the weather had been good enough to ride the motorcycle, if I'd been getting it out. The short answer is no. There was probably a few days I could have drug it out, but especially this week we've had nothing but rain all week. All of our softball games have been canceled and stuff, so I haven't been able to ride yet this year. And in fact, for the last few years, I've barely ridden at all. I would say last year I probably put less than 20 miles on the bike. It barely got out of the garage. And when it did, it would be just like to have a quick date night, go to a restaurant or whatever. And I've had to think about that, you know? I love my motorcycle dearly. I've been riding since I was, technically, like a child. My dad had he made a little, lawnmower powered scooter that I rode a lot when I was a kid. And then, as soon as I got to Hawaii, I started riding. I rode a moped. I had a Ninja 250, or not a Ninja. It was just a Suzuki GSX 250. I've had Harleys. I've had the Suzuki. I've had Hondas. I've had all kinds of bikes. And it's been a part of my life forever. But here's the thing. I work from home, which suits me very well. My natural state is at home. I prefer to just be here. If I could just live here and have all of my outside world needs taken care of without my need to leave, I would be that person. I would be a recluse in a heartbeat. Just super quick. I would just turn off and be a recluse. People can come here. I love having people, but I'm not going to go places. I just don't. And so as I stopped going places, there's less and less and less of a need for me to have a vehicle of any kind. Pretty much, the only reason I need my car is to drive my kid around, and maybe go grocery shopping once a week. But I could, Malia would take me to do that. I don't really need a car. I don't need the bike. I haven't needed the bike in a long time. And so it's just been sitting. And that bothers me because it's not good for it. Two, it's taking up space in the shop. That's a valuable set of that. There's a 8-foot by 5-foot section of the shop that could be occupied by something else. Not that I need that space for tools or whatever. This working space is great for me. But it's bothering me because it is it once was such an important part of my life, and that's the part I've been thinking about. It was an important part of my life because I needed it. If we dial back 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, whatever, all of my 20s, all of my 30s, my life was turmoil. It was just all over the place. I was never in a good financial spot for more than 6 months. I was never in a good emotional spot for more than 6 months. My relationship was never, there was just a lot going on that caused me a lot of problems, and I needed that time away from everything. And so getting on the bike and putting the helmet on and shutting out the world and riding for an hour was the biggest, best, most amazing release. That and fishing. And sometimes I would take the bike to the fishing, so it was like a dual thing. I did those things as my way of getting away from it all for an hour or two and finding myself again and recentering and then coming back to the chaos. Well, over the last 5 or 6 years, that chaos has slowly just dwindled away. I don't have chaos in my life. In fact, my life is freaking great, And so the desperate need to just escape is not there anymore. I like being here. because this is where my things are and I get to do the things that I enjoy. This is where my best friend is. She lives with me and I see her all the time. I don't need to go run away, you know? And for us, getting on the bike and going somewhere, it's good to like, let's go have a little date. We'll go to the restaurant or whatever. But to get on the bike, you know, it's not like we're having a moment together. Like, the destination is the moment. The ride is just kind of like we're riding because we enjoy the wind and we enjoy the freedom of it. But it's not like a together moment. You know, we don't have helmet comms. We're just like, if you've ever ridden, a like lots of people. I have not. Lots of people wear earplugs when they're riding. I have a windscreen. And so it doesn't bother me that much, but it's very loud. That's why if you've ever heard like a bike go past you with a stereo, it's insanely loud because they can't hear it otherwise. So I don't need to shut out the world. I don't need to shut out my partner. I don't need to shut out, you know, the sadness or the anxiety or whatever. None of that. I don't need that anymore. And so now the bike is just a you know, it would be riding just for the feel of it, like for no other reason. And honestly, like I've put, I don't know, 100,000 miles on two wheels, 150,000 miles. I put a lot of miles on two wheels. I don't need it. I'm not desperate for that escape. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a very good thing. I hope, we talked a little bit recently, actually. Malia brought it up, actually. She said something like we should try to get the bike out a little bit more this year and take some trips. And I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's find some places that are like an hour's ride away or, you know, or less. And let's just take a ride, go have dinner. Let's take a ride, go see something. Let's take the camera and take some pictures and get some footage and that sort of stuff. And just see what, you know, see if we can rekindle a love for riding together later this year. I think if she had her own bike, and we went riding like as a couple's ride, I think that would be, we would probably be much more inclined to do it. But just kind of on the same bike together. We also I don't have any riding friends. I don't know anybody who rides in my life. And riding clubs, there's not really that here. So it's not like I have, like her parents have friends that they used to go on a motorcycle camping trip every year. That sort of thing. I don't do that. I don't have that friend that we go ride together or whatever. So it's just not something that I do. And like we talked about last year with maybe gaming, like kind of taking a back seat in my life, I think motorcycling kind of has too. Like it's no longer this thing that I'm desperate for. And I think that part of that is because I don't do it casually. You know, when I was riding to work every day, it was so relieving to be on the bike that when it came time to go somewhere, the bike was like my first choice. Now when it comes time to go somewhere, I just go, I'll just hop in the car. Like, because that's just, you know, it's just whatever. It's convenient. So we'll see. I think that Jonathan, in part of that question was him saying, take the GoPro, film some stuff. I think I would like to try that. I've talked about it for years. Some of my local road, like literally the road that I live on is one of the coolest roads to ride in this area. It's like there's like a mile stretch of it that's just really beautiful and fantastic. I'd like to capture some of that. So we might get around to it. We shall see. But I think that if I don't know. I don't want to say I'm going to sell the bike. I don't think I'm going to sell the bike, but it needs to get more use. Yeah. Yeah. Hope that answers that question. I love it when you ask questions. I love it when you give me topic ideas. Please continue to do so. In the comments, text me, call me. Everything's at the end. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is unwieldy. It is an adjective meaning not easy to handle or manage. Now mark me how I will undo myself. I give this heavy weight from off my head, and this unwieldy scepter from my hand, the pride of kingly sway from out my heart. William Shakespeare. Unwieldy. Unwieldy. It just says Shakespeare. I don't think that was like a direct quote. It had to have been from one of his plays. It doesn't tell me which one.